Joining us now, Corey Lewandowski, Senior Advisor, Trump Pens 2020. Corey, great to have you.
Good morning, John. Happy day.
I pre-ordered two of your books, one for me, one for Den. Ann's going to read mine, so I pre-ordered it, called up, got it. Was easy to do. It took me about 5 minutes. Got my, MasterCard and all of that, so we're excited about that. Before we get into politics and all that, tell us again about your book.
John, I got a new book coming out with Dave Bossy. It's called Trump, America First. Very simple. It's the slogan that he has talked about since he came down that golden escalator. It doesn't mean America alone, but it means America first. And the first part of the book is about, my traveling with the president and all the same kind of things that for anyone who read Let Trump Be Trump, those insights, those behind-the-scenes stories, the time on Air Force One, the time in the beach with the president, the time at the rallies out in Iowa and New Hampshire for the primaries, how the Democrats couldn't count simple ballots in Iowa. We talk about all these things. And the later half of the book is all the promises that the president made and the promises he's kept, from immigration reform to decoupling our economy from China to reforming the federal judiciary and so many others. This is really the blueprint of what Donald Trump has been able to achieve in the first 4 years of this administration. It's called Trump, America First. It's available everywhere, bookstores. It's going to come out on September 29th, and I'm more than happy to sign copies. But it's going to be a great read. It's a fun, easy read, a lot like the first book we wrote called Let Trump Be Trump.
I can't wait till it comes out, Corey, and it is going to be a bestseller just like your other ones have, and I'm excited about it. It's going to be fantastic, and thanks for doing that. And, hey, look, you know what? You have to spend time isolated in lockdown in New Hampshire, so it's good that you spent the time writing a book, right? It's beats sitting at home. You got something out of it, right? It's a good thing.
That's exactly what I did, John. Look, I said, hey, I'm going to spend, like everybody else, I had 9 weeks at home, and I wasn't really looking to write another book, but I said it's really important that the American people have a chance to see, unfiltered, what this president's been able to achieve. And Trump America First does that. It outlines the case of why we should reelect Donald Trump for 4 more years. And look, it's got some great pictures in there, some behind-the-scenes stuff, some funny stories like we always do. It's written from 2 guys who have had the opportunity to be part of the team from the very, very beginning and to continue to be on the team. And, Donnie Jr. has read it and praised the book. So many people who we've asked to get involved. Matt Gaetz has given us a blurb for the book. Ronna Romney McDaniel, the chairman of the RNC. And so, look, this book is about the president's reelection. It's about what he's been able to achieve, and it's about why we need to have Donald Trump. We've got a whole long chapter on Sleepy Joe Biden and his corrupt business practices with Hunter and all the things that he has been through. And, look, people need to read it so they understand what this election is really about come November.
Well, I think it's going to be, timely, and I think it's going to make a difference. We're going to look forward to promoting it the best we can. Corey, look, we've talked every week for a very long time. Things have gone up and down. About a month ago when we talked, things not looking good. You start to look at the poll numbers now. Everyone that's coming out, Trump's gaining. Of course, you're not going to find this in the fake news. That's why we're starting our own newspaper. They're going to continue to lie to you. Let me just give you a couple polls that have come out recently. In Ohio, Trump within 4 in Ohio. Now, remember, every one of these polls is skewed. So when I look at a poll and I see Trump within 4 or 5, I know he's going to win that state. But that's moved up. In North Carolina, it's virtually tied. That's moved up. He's now got the lead in Georgia. Trump is going to win Georgia. He's now within 4 of Biden in Florida. That's the Mason-Dixon poll. Remember, there was a poll that came out 3 weeks ago, had him down by 13. The Emerson poll, the national poll, another liberal polling operation, has Biden up by 4 nationally. A couple of weeks ago, it was 15. Corey, everything is starting to move in the president's direction. He's staying on message. People are looking at these mobs. They're defunding police. Biden can't get his sentence out. I tell you what, this week, I feel better about our chances than I have in a very long time. Am I right?
John, we're just under 13 weeks before the election, 13 weeks from yesterday, okay? We're at the 90-day marker. And where we were today 4 years ago actually pales in comparison. If you want to look at it, our numbers today are 2 to 3 points better in every place than we were 4 years ago. Look, the truth is, in states like Ohio, where the president is going to be tomorrow at a Whirlpool facility talking about buy America, hire America. This is what he's been able to do in the first 4 years, and the people of Ohio are going to respond by making sure he wins that state. The truth is, Ohio is off the map for the Democrats. They don't want to talk about it, but they know that they can't be successful there regardless of who Joe Biden picks as his running mate. Look, states like New Hampshire, my home state, a battleground state, always a battleground state. We have a superior organization to anything that Joe Biden has on the ground. I was in Michigan on Friday last week. I was in Macomb County, Michigan. They had a primary last night, and I'll tell you what, the intensity for Donald Trump as I traveled through Michigan last Friday was amazing. I went to an outdoor event, John, where I was the keynote speaker. Little Corey Lewandowski. They had 250 people out there at an outdoor rally. It was probably 95 degrees. Myself and Sheriff David Clark were out there. And I'll tell you what, the people are excited. Trump signs everywhere, street signs, that people in their yards, you name it. People are fired up for Donald Trump. So I haven't believed the polls for 4 years. I know what our internal numbers say. Our internal numbers are indicating that we are in a very, very strong position. And look, this president has delivered for the American people and deserves 4 more years. That's what it comes down to, John.
Well, and look, I mean, the economy is starting to come back. The end of the month, you're going to get another, even with some of the cases going up, you're going to see another jobs report resurgence. People in America know that Trump's the only guy that's going to be able to build this economy back. Joe Biden isn't. But the other thing is, Joe Biden's gotten the pass, Corey. He stayed in the basement. He said nothing. He's going to have to debate. A week ago, I didn't think he was going to debate. Lockhart from the Clinton days told him not to. New York Times said debates are stupid. Don't do it. Of course, when Hillary was debating Trump, then they thought Hillary would win. They were all in favor of 5 debates. So it just depends on the situation. But I now think he's got to debate. He has to, or he's going to lose. So you got him in a box. But the Trump campaign is now defining Joe Biden. And look at what's happening in the Democratic Party. They knocked off a 30-year Black Caucus member last evening in Missouri, whose father founded the Black Caucus with another left-wing socialist activist. I mean, the party has just been hijacked by these people.
Hey, John, if you're not a crazy left-wing lunatic who believes Antifa is the way our country should run, then you're not progressive enough for them. And that's what they did last night in Missouri. They took out a member of their Congressional Black Caucus because they didn't believe she was a far-left socialist enough. And that's where the party is going. And John, here's really where we are. Joe Biden does not want to debate. We've seen it now from Joe Lockhart, who's a complete failure as a political consultant, right? He's a total hack. He's the guy who was defending Bill Clinton when he perjured himself under oath about lying about Monica Lewinsky. Joe Lockhart was doing that. And I've got an op-ed that I'll publish this morning on The Hill of exactly why we need to call these people out. Because if this was Donald Trump saying he wasn't going to debate the candidate, they would be excoriating him. But now the New York Times, CNN, and look, Brian Stelter from CNN said this is a right-wing conspiracy. Not exactly the case. This is person after person who Joe Biden listens to who's saying, stay in your basement, Sleepy Joe. You can't hang with Donald Trump. Don't you dare get on that debate stage because the American people will see what we already know. This guy is not ready for prime time. He is not capable of being the President of the United States. That's what the American people see if Joe Biden steps on that stage. So we must hold him accountable.
If he doesn't debate, it begs the question why. I mean, as simple as that. Normally, a challenger wants to debate. It's the incumbent, if they have a lead, might not want to. And I always go back to the 96 Clinton example. Bill Clinton had a commanding lead over Bob Dole. Dole wanted 3 debates. The Clinton team negotiated down to 2 of them. I mean, it was a fair compromise. He had what appeared at the time an insurmountable lead, probably bigger than Biden has now. But he was the incumbent. He had that power. I don't think Biden can sidestep these debates because everybody's going to ask the question, well, why? I mean, why are we voting for somebody and the guy can't get on the same stage and get 3 sentences out? So I think he's in a box. He's going to have to debate, Corey, no question about it.
But, John, look, to your point, John, I never cut you off, but on this point, I got to say this. It's really important. The first debate is scheduled for September 29th. Happens to be the same day that my new book, Trump, America First, is coming out. But regardless of that, okay? If Joe Biden can delay the first debate, the second debate scheduled is actually the vice presidential debate, which takes place at the beginning of October, which means if Joe Biden just simply delays and doesn't participate in the first debate and agrees to two, he will be debating Donald Trump the second or third week of October. Many, many states will have ballots out at that point for 7 or 8 weeks. Some of these ballots are going out right after Labor Day, and people don't sit around and hold their ballots for 7 weeks waiting for that presidential debate to happen. So Joe Biden's strategy is to not participate in the first debate on September 29th, but to wait until potentially the second or third scheduled debate and then agree to it because of the pressure. But he'll have won by that point, John. He'll won in the world of the media, and he'll have won in the world of all the people who are getting their ballots and turning them around before they see Joe Biden on the debate stage, and then they will have buyer's remorse. That's what he's trying to do here. Let's not kid ourselves.
How do you stop that?
Look, the only way to do this is we must put more pressure on him. Not 3 debates, I say 5 debates. Not September 29th, I say September 3rd, September 4th. Let's do it the day the ballots go out so that when you get your ballot in the mailbox, you've now had the chance to see Donald Trump debate Joe Biden, and then you can make an informed decision based on their performance. You know what? I see these articles now that debates don't matter. Hey, go tell Richard Nixon that to when he debated JFK, right? Debates do matter. Debates matter all the time. Go tell that to Jimmy Carter when he debated Ronald Reagan. Debates absolutely matter. Go tell Hillary Clinton when Donald Trump crushed her in St. Louis that debates don't matter. They absolutely matter. The difference here is the Democrats, and by extension, the far-left media, the New York Times, CNN, etc., want to give Joe every excuse not to participate in the debate. They will allow him to do it at the end of October when tens of millions of votes will have potentially already been cast, and then those people will see that Joe doesn't have the mental faculties to do this job, but it will be too late.
So how do you get that message out? I mean, it's not really getting out in the media. That's not, I mean, the last 3 or 4 days of the Trump campaign, there's nothing I've gotten demanding that, 5 debates with dates on it. So there's no media pressure to do that. When is that going to change? Because I agree with what you're saying. It's just that it's not being presented that way. It's not being demanded by the campaign or the White House.
Look, it is clearly part of the strategy to hold these media outlets accountable. And when our surrogates are on TV, we have to be talking about this. Joe Biden must commit immediately to not only these 3 debates, but look, and I've said this before, the Presidential Debate Commission is a dinosaur. The fact that, the old days of having 3 debates was perfectly fine when everybody voted on Election Day, or a very small percentage of the people were voting absentee. Those days are gone. So the Presidential Debate Commission, run by a bunch of dinosaurs who never supported Donald Trump and never wanted to support Donald Trump, should have pushed for an earlier debate, stop the last debate a week before the election, or move the middle debate and move the debate up to the front so that when the ballots are going out, that's what has to happen. And every time a Trump surrogate is on television, on the radio, they need to be calling this out and making sure that Joe Biden's people have to account for their flip-flop all of a sudden. But look, failures like Joe Lockhart, this guy is just a total hack. He will never admit the fact that this is partisan politics at its very worst. This guy goes out and pretends to be, a prognosticator. He pretends to be this great foreseer of the future, and he's telling Joe Biden and his cohorts that Joe Biden shouldn't debate. It's because they know this guy is not cognitively able to be the president.
So why isn't the media picking up on this? Why aren't they demanding that the first debate be in alignment with when early voting starts? Because you're right. I mean, if they wait to the second or third week in October, in the majority of these states, over half the ballots will have already been cast. So why even have them? That doesn't make any sense.
Right. Look, hey, John. Here is the New York Times opinion piece. Let's scrap the presidential debate. They become unrevealing quip contests. Right. Here's CNN's headline: Political analyst makes plea for Biden not to debate Trump. Biden better walk back any offers to debate Trump. The other CNN headline. Newsweek, Supporters urge Joe Biden not to debate Trump. I mean, look, these are the left-wing institutions that are playing to their base because they know that they can't do it. And then you've got CNN's Brian Stelter saying, this is a right-wing media conspiracy that Biden isn't going to debate. Hey, you know what? CNN, if they had any integrity left, would be calling for another debate at the front end of this thing because it would be a massive ratings draw. And look, if the Presidential Debate Commission doesn't want to do this, then we should go to an outside source or negotiate it ourselves directly with the campaign and find moderators who aren't currently participating or scheduled to participate in the debate, and use those people. Look, the first debate was supposed to be at Notre Dame University. They backed out, and now it's at Case Western University in Ohio. So things have plenty of time to change. We should be having a debate in 30 days, not in 75.
Okay, you just laid out here in 15 minutes a very detailed, great, cogent strategy, a debate strategy for the president to go to Joe Biden, to go to the media and say, this is what we should do and here are the reasons, right? It's airtight. I mean, it makes sense. It's logical. So, again, I need you to go to Stepien, the campaign manager, and lay this out because what you just said makes sense. But as a part of the inner circle, we're just debating this on the radio, part of the inner circle, I'm not getting any of this. I'm not getting any of this from anybody except Corey Lewandowski. What you're saying is 100% on target. This is exactly what should happen. And I think if you do this the right way, American people are going to be like, well, yeah, certainly the first debate should be before you start casting the ballots. I mean, that just makes sense.
You're right.
You got to get it out, though.
And the campaign knows it, and we are working. But the truth is the Biden campaign will stonewall us. They will come up with every excuse. Look, the latest excuse that they're using that they don't want to debate Donald Trump is a liar. That's literally what they said. Oh, Donald Trump is a liar, and so we're not going to debate you. They have no reason not to debate Donald Trump other than the fact that Joe Biden doesn't know where he is, cannot physically stand on a debate stage for 90 minutes, cannot answer questions. He continues to refuse to answer questions from the media, and the media continues to give him a pass. The Presidential Debate Commission should be abolished. It's shameful what they are doing right now. If this were Donald Trump 4 years ago, where he said, I don't want to debate Hillary Clinton, it would be the news story on every major network in the country for the next 90 days of this election. But when it's Joe Biden, you will not commit to doing this. There is a path. There's nothing to see here. That's why the American people are so tired of the legacy media, John.
If Biden bails on these debates, is there going to be a political price to pay, or will the mainstream legacy fake news media simply protect him? Or are there enough people that are going to really be suspicious and penalize him for it? What do you think, Corey?
Look, I think Joe Biden's going to try and get out of this first debate. I'm very, very confident in that. And he will compromise by saying, well, 2 debates is plenty, and we'll do them at the end of October. And, look, Joe Biden has gotten a pass, John. He still hasn't picked his vice presidential candidate yet, John. I mean, look, this guy had a deadline. He couldn't meet the deadline. This is the epitome of the Obama-Biden administration. You lay a line in the sand, somebody walks over it, you put a new line down, right? That's why our enemies laughed at us for 8 years, and that's why our allies didn't for 8 years. Joe Biden put a line down the sand and said, by August 1st, I'm going to say who it is. Hey, it's now August 5th, and we're saying, well, maybe next week we'll do this. This is amazing because what Joe Biden has to do when he picks this person, and John, just to remind your listeners, I was the chairman of the Vice Presidential Selection Committee for Donald Trump. I was the guy who vetted Mike Pence. I understand the process. I know exactly what they're going through. The difference is Joe Biden's going to have to do interviews when he picks this person, and they're trying to prepare him for these interviews, so they're continuing to push this announcement out as far as possible so that he doesn't have to do interviews with the media.
Do you think they've actually made a decision?
I think they're down to 2 candidates. I really do. I believe it's Susan Rice or Kamala Harris. Joe Biden, I think, wants Susan Rice. He's got some people pushing him for Kamala Harris. And I think that's really where this decision has come down to. I think he ultimately picked Susan Rice because the Democrat establishment knows something. Joe Biden is not capable of being the President of the United States. Susan Rice has vast international experience, having served as a national security advisor, and they will say that she is going to be the backup when Joe Biden is in the basement of his White House, if he's ever elected, which I don't think is going to happen. But I think the decision has been made. They just don't want him out talking about it because the guy cannot have a coherent conversation with the media.
I agree with your assessment. I think it's either Kamala Harris or Rice. I thought it would be Harris. What I've heard is that Biden doesn't like her, and neither does his wife, and so that's a problem. Joe Biden apparently has tremendous influence in that campaign, not out of the box for presidential candidates, right? There's some wives that have that kind of influence, so I'm not going to criticize that, but that's what I've heard, that his campaign thinks Harris is the way to go. She's tested. She's run for political office, but he can't stand her, and I think that's a problem when you don't like somebody. And he liked the same relationship he had with Obama, and maybe he can get that with Rice. Here's the good thing about Susan Rice. I mean, she has proven to be the best liar in history when she went on TV 8 shows on a Sunday and lied through her teeth about Benghazi and did it without skipping a beat. This woman is the greatest liar since Bill Clinton. I mean, she's unbelievable. So if they're looking for the liar, the best liar they can find, I don't see how you can do better than Susan Rice. On that note, we'll end. John Fredericks Radio Network. Corey Lewandowski, thanks for being with us.